Every major AI company puts guardrails on its chatbot. Filters. Usage limits. A refusal when you ask it to do something it shouldn't. In 2023, a version showed up online with all of that stripped out. No filters. No limits. No refusals. It runs on a laptop. And it's completely free. Here's the part that makes this different from a normal AI controversy. This isn't a leak. It isn't a hack. It's a feature. In 2023, Meta released the weights behind its Llama 2 language model, essentially the trained brain of the AI, openly, for anyone to download and modify. Mistral AI, a French startup, did something similar, releasing powerful open-weight models without a built-in moderation layer at all, a choice the company has been explicit about. Once those weights are public, anyone with enough technical skill and computing power can take that base model and retrain it, specifically to remove the safety behavior big companies build in. The industry term for this is uncensored fine-tuning. Community-built models, some with names like Dolphin and WizardLM and Censored, are explicitly marketed as stripped of the usual refusals, hosted openly on platforms like Hugging Face for anyone to download. Here's where this stops being an abstract debate about openness and starts being a documented cybercrime problem. In July 2023, cybersecurity firm /Next identified a tool circulating on dark web forums called WormGPT. It was built on an open-source model called GPTJ, then deliberately fine-tuned on malware code, exploit write-ups, and phishing templates. WormGPT could write convincing business email compromise scams, the kind of fraudulent emails that impersonate a CEO or vendor to trick an employee into wiring money, without the grammatical mistakes that usually give these scams away. Researchers found it could also help generate working malware code on request. It was sold openly on hacking forums as what its creator called the black hat alternative to GPT. WormGPT wasn't alone for long. Within weeks, a similar tool called FraudGPT appeared, advertised on dark web marketplaces and Telegram channels as an all-in-one cybercrime toolkit, priced around $200 a month. Its advertised capabilities included generating phishing pages, finding security vulnerabilities, and writing scam content designed to trick victims into handing over personal information. Separately, a French security research group called Mistral Security built something called PoisonGPT, not to commit fraud, but to prove a point. They showed it was possible to take an open model, subtly corrupt its factual answers on specific topics, and redistribute it looking completely normal, demonstrating how an open model could be weaponized to quietly spread misinformation at scale. Media coverage of WormGPT specifically got intense enough that its original creator shut the project down within about a month. But by then, the blueprint was public. Copycats and successor tools built on the same idea have continued appearing since, some more recently built on newer open-weight models, including versions of Mistral and xAI's Grok, according to cybersecurity researchers tracking the space. So given all of that, why does the open-source AI community keep releasing these models anyway? The argument for openness isn't naive. It's actually pretty serious. Open-weight models let independent researchers, universities, and smaller companies study exactly how these systems work, instead of trusting a handful of large corporations to self-report their own safety testing. They prevent AI capability from concentrating entirely inside a small number of companies with total control over what the technology can and can't be used for. And legitimate uses exist for models with fewer built-in restrictions. Security researchers stress testing systems, fiction writers working with mature themes, medical or legal researchers needing an AI that won't reflexively refuse sensitive but legitimate questions. Once you accept that concentrating all AI power in a few companies is also genuinely dangerous, just don't release open models stops being an obviously correct answer. The argument against it is just as serious and comes down to one specific, irreversible problem. Once model weights are public, they can't be recalled. A company like OpenAI or Anthropic can patch a vulnerability, suspend an account, or update a safety filter overnight. Once Meta or Mistral releases a model's weights publicly, anyone, anywhere, can keep an unmodified, unpatched copy running forever, entirely outside any company's control, regardless of what misuse gets documented afterward. That's precisely what happened with WormGPT's underlying architecture. Even after the original tool was shut down, the base technology it was built from remained publicly available, and successor tools kept getting built on it. Regulators have started responding to exactly this tension, and it's shaping up to be one of the more contentious fights in AI policy. The European Union's AI Act includes specific provisions addressing open-source models, generally offering lighter obligations for open models while still applying stricter rules to the most powerful, general-purpose systems, regardless of whether their weights are open or closed. In the U.S., a 2023 executive order on AI directed federal agencies to study the specific risks of widely available open model weights, without immediately banning their release. Nobody serious is proposing to ban open-source AI outright, at least not yet. But the debate over where exactly to draw the line between the largest, most capable frontier models and everything smaller remains genuinely unresolved, and it's likely to keep intensifying as open models keep getting more capable. The tools that make an AI helpful and the tools that make it exploitable turn out to be built from largely the same underlying technology. Once that technology is released openly, the decision about how it gets used stops belonging to the company that built it and starts belonging to whoever downloads it next. That's not a hypothetical risk anymore. It's already produced real, working cybercrime tools sold openly on the dark web, built from models that anyone, right now, could still legally download. If that changes how you think about the phrase open source AI, that's exactly the right reaction to have. Subscribe for more deep dives into the parts of the AI industry that don't get nearly enough attention. And tell me in the comments, should companies be allowed to release these models publicly at all, or is the risk too high?